Alright, so I'm in the shop. I just got a package boxed up, sent out to another buddy. And this axe here is one that I plan on trading to Mountain Men Axes, Nick, right? So I would like to pull the handle from this because the handle's warped and got this nasty paint and real bad overstrike damage on the back. He's also working on a nice white oak handle with some Purple Heart, laminated Purple Heart palm swells. So I think he plans on, once we kind of figure it out, I think he plans on using that handle for this. So clearly he's not going to need this handle. And if I'm sending it to him, it's going to be a lot cheaper to send a loose head than a handle, especially if the handle's junk. So my thoughts are to pull this handle, and which he doesn't know about, the part that he doesn't know about is I think I'm going to make a sheath for him. So that way, when he gets the head, he'll have a sheath to go with it. I'm not sure if he does any leather work. I haven't seen him do any leather work on his axes yet, so maybe it'll be a nice little bonus. Get him into another aspect of the hobby. It's addicting. You start off with just heads, then handles, just axes, then handles, then sheaths, and sharpening, and files, and bench vices for restoring them, and all kinds of stuff. So it's a slippery slope. So either way, my thoughts are pull this handle and then start working on a sheath for it. Maybe clean this head up just a little bit more too, so that way I'm not putting a dirty head in and out of a nice new sheath. And I need more practice on the sheaths. So I've had a couple people at different points, kind of inquire if I'd, make a sheath for their axe head, and I like the idea of it. It's not that I'm not willing to. I'm not super confident in my own leather work. I think at this point I'm confident enough with like the leather work part. The part that I struggle with the most is the closures. I was on a good track with the brass stud closures, but on the last one I made for the Connecticut, that stud was it's just slightly too thin for that thickness of leather. And I've struggled with snaps a lot. I think I've been playing around with some test pieces of leather, and I think I got it dialed in. So making a sheath for this will be good practice for that. And then once I feel confident and that I can say, yes, I can make you a sheath for whatever, then I'll agree to, sell a sheath to someone. I'd feel bad agreeing to make something for someone and then I'm sending them something that's less than what I'd be happy with, you know what I mean? So either way, I'm rambling like usual. Time to pull a handle. All right, so as far as the axe goes, you can see where it was previously hung a bit lower on the shoulder. So I suspect I should be able to jump this head back down on the handle a little bit more. I'm going to try to save this handle, not just cut it off, because I do like the pattern of it, and maybe I could clean it up and straighten it out. It's a little bent, but not terrible. I don't know. It might be worth saving, but it also might not be. Try to jump this handle down just a little bit further, or the head down a little bit further on the handle so we can get at those wedges a little better. The downsides, as you can see, this fawn's foot was already cracked too. So we did make some more progress on here. We've gotten it almost all the way up to the top. Give it a couple more taps. Nothing too crazy. I'm not trying to break the handle, but you can see in there is a fair bit of steel. So we'll bring that over to the bench vise, and we'll try to start working on that. Nick, hopefully you don't mind me working on this a little bit. I don't know what this piece of steel is that's wedged in there. It's odd looking though. Because I don't want to hit my vice grips with a steel hammer. I usually use a copper one. We're making progress. There we go. We got our wedge. I don't know if that's actually a step wedge or if it's the hunk of a something. I don't know. Either way, it's what was being used as a step wedge. So we'll see. We'll try jumping the head on a little further now. See if we get any more progress with it. A little bit. Need a longer bolt? There, I got one. Eye on this is kind of narrow. It's mushroomed in a little bit, but not much. I think it's just a narrower eye. There we go. And we are free. Salvage the handle. Whether it's worth salvaging, I don't know, but we saved it. Sweet. Don't worry, Nick, I'm not doing anything too crazy. I'm just cleaning up the blade here a little bit. is a nice full bit, and I like the geometry on it too. Even with the, you kind of see it with the light here, you can see how it's a nice high center line. I don't know what kind of grind you want to put on it, but I think a nice deep banana grind would look really sweet. Then again, I might be biased because that's what I put on my my plum Rockaway. So, but once it ends up in your shop, you can do whatever you want with it. I'm not going too crazy because I'm already pretty much like considering this this mix axe. So the goal here was really just to clean it up so that way, clean it up enough so that way when I make a sheath for it, it's not getting the sheath filthy. Like I said, I didn't do anything too crazy. I'm not sure if he wants to keep any paint on it. I'm guessing he probably wants to clean it off because I don't think it's the original paint. Looks like there's some silver or white, and some orange paint. All right, zeroed out. 3 pounds, 13 ounces, 13.5 ounces. So this is probably started life as a 4-pound axe. Maybe a 3.5 pound, just a heavy one. Hard to say. Start making a sheath for it. I know I should probably be working on the giveaway build, but this is what I feel like doing tonight. So that's what I'm gonna do. I did work on the giveaway build a little bit, actually. I just got tired of shaping handles, or working that tongue down. So I wanted to switch gears. I needed to get that package packed up for Mike. That is done, with the exception of needing some more packing tape because I ran out. And I feel like working on this. So that's what I'm going to do. And again, just like last time, can't see any of that. Just like last time, we'll trim that down to a better size once we get a little closer. So I apologize here. I believe I'd walked too far away from the wireless microphone on my phone at the time. It had the wireless mic connected, and it disconnected and turned off, so I lost all the audio, at least for the middle section here. But you can see I'm just using my usual contact cement and gluing that section where the welt's going to go. I did use a different style welt here. I kind of did it in 2 parts. The purpose of that was to kind of save the leather, or save from using so much leather. And because it's glued together on the burnish, you're not really gonna, at least at this point I'm hoping, I already know because I've already seen the end result, but you're not really going to be able to see the kind of the seam too much. So it saves on some leather because it's kind of the welt's kind of an odd shape to kind of cut out, and you have a lot of waste with it. So the one thing about doing it this way, it was placing the welt was a little bit trickier than the other way. It was kind of cutting a full welt, but I think it was overall. I think it was worth it. Right here, I'm just gluing the other side of the sheath, or the other side of the welt, so I can throw the front of the sheath on. It was pretty cold in the shop, so it was taking a little while for the glue to kind of set up at first. Now that the glue's set up and all dried, I sanded it quick, and right here I'm just using the edge beveler on it to kind of chamfer over that edge. I don't really like this edge beveler that I have. I do want to buy a designated one. The one I'm using is kind of one of those like combo tools, and it's just not. I don't know. It was fine for starting out, but I think you kind of get what you pay for. It wasn't very expensive, and it works on. It works all right. We'll just leave it at that. It gets the job done. Now I am running a stitching groove on the front here because I do plan on stitching the sheath. I like the way it looks. I think it just makes it look a little bit more polished too. You'd be perfectly fine just using the rivets if you glued it. I think they'd be perfectly secure, but I don't know. I felt like stitching. It was cold in the shop, and I know that running the stitching meant I got to go in and do it on the recliner. And one of the things about the stitching groove is I did run it on both the front and the back this time. You'll see how it came out. Right here I'm burnishing it, or putting the gum tragacanth on for burnishing. I haven't had much, I don't know, I've had varying success with burnishing. I think this is actually one of the better burnishing jobs that I've gotten done. I think this better leather definitely responds to it a lot better than some of the other stuff before. So kind of getting a system down for it. And I will say the thicker edges of the leather, like where it's stacked up, burnishes a lot better than the thinner parts. So. No, I think eventually I might go back to or try using a kind of an electric burnisher again for the thinner parts at least. You know, one that you just kind of chuck up in the drill press. So, giving the axe a test fit here, just to make sure it fits nice and snug. It does. So, looks good. Yeah, so next part is on to the rivet placement. Here, I usually put them in the stress points of the sheath, so like the very top corner, the bottom corner, right where the axe kind of goes in on the front. And I'll throw 2 more in along the front of the welt where the blade goes, just to kind of balance it out a little more visually. Probably only needed 1 in the middle, but I thought it looked better with 2. Right here I'm doing the stitching like marker. I don't know exactly. I kind of guessed that it was like 11 lines per inch. So it's probably actually 12. And I usually go every other little mark. So usually like 6 stitches per inch, I guess. So you can see here, I used the marks that I made with the awl and used my drill press to drill the holes all the way through. You can see the front looked pretty good, but the holes on the back kind of wandered a little bit. The first one wasn't bad. I tried to overcompensate, went too far. Tried to overcompensate the other way, kind of went back the other way. Then the rest I kind of stayed consistent with. It's funny, as I was actually in the shop drilling this, Kurt was giving me a comment that he actually waits on his sheets. He waits to do the stitching groove on the back until he's already drilled the holes. In the future, that's probably what I'll do. Where we're at right now is we've saddle stitched it. Sat inside on the recliner where it was nice and warm. Stitched it up while I was watching some other YouTube. It actually came out way better than I thought it was going to, especially with this kind of crooked hole alignment. I think it hit it pretty well, especially with doing the double stitch back down between these 2 holes. That wider section of stitching, I think, kind of masked it well. So that's good. I do still like this color combo with like the cream color stitching and the brown leather. I think it looks good. So, yep, trim our strings, our extra thread, and get to setting some rivets. We can use the little bench anvil in the previous video. Usually after a while, after you drill these holes, they kind of close up a little bit, so I usually just take an awl, especially after you kind of do the stitching with them, and just open it up a little bit more. One of the things I keep meaning to do is like chamfer the edge of this heavier, because it kind of goes away after you work it a little bit. But it can you see any of that? Yeah, you can kind of see where the punch leaves a little ring around it. Not a fan of that. It's not the worst thing, but I can also just chamfer that over some more. Or spend like $4 and buy the actual right burr setting tool, but that's $4 that can go towards another axe head. I like how heavy it is too. Alright, burrs are set. Now we can trim them off. I did get my my nicer cutters back from my wife. She was making a Christmas wreath and stole them. So, well, borrowed them. Because I did get them back. And they do work nice. I do sometimes like to just take a file and kind of take that sharp top off just a little bit. And Kurt, I should have taken your advice and brought some paper out. Luckily, the anvil's clean right now, but I do like your suggestion of keeping some paper in the shop to like set on top of a dirty work surface to prevent it from transferring onto your clean leather. I thought that was, it's such a simple suggestion, but one that just like, I hadn't thought of it, and it's so obvious. I love suggestions like that. It's like, of course, it's a phenomenal idea. I don't know why I hadn't thought of it. And the hand hammered rivets, they look less polished, but I like the handmade look of them too, where you kind of got all the facets from where you're painting it. When you use that kind of like a rounding tool, I don't know what this tool's called, but it leaves it like way smoother and more polished. So if that's the look you're going for, you know, maybe it is worth investing in a real one of them, but I kind of like the hammered look. You can kind of see, again, I know I've shown it in other videos, we kind of see all those facets on it. Get this in here. It's still a nice tight fit. I like it. You can see that this nice heavyweight leather really makes it nice for filling that gap in between for the welt, so you don't have to like stack multiple ones, kind of like I did on my Tasmanian sheath. This folds over nicely. It is heavy leather, so it's kind of hard to press. I mean, it's not hard to press down, but it's got some resistance. All right. Right there, good. All right. Got 2 marks. It even closes without the sheath in it, or the axe in it, so. I think I still like the brass stud closures more, but when the snaps are working, they are nice. These are line 24 ones. They're kind of heavy duty, so that's the style that they are. Looks like everything mushroomed over nice. No movement there. No movement here. The only movement you hear is actually that brass like spring in there. That's kind of what snaps around that. That half to actually make the snap work. I think you just needed to break in a little bit too. It's working nice now. I'm happy with that. Maybe snaps haven't been as bad as I've thought before, and I just needed to actually like work them in a little bit. So that's working nice now. Perfectly sufficient for, you can see it moves just a tiny little bit, but with how much that bit flares and that beard on it, there's no way you're getting that off just by bumping it around or even walking through the woods with it. Got a nice thick welt, keep it protected. Nick, hopefully you like it. It was good practice. I even did the stitching for you. So, sweet. I like how it came out. I think it looks good. Oiling wood and oiling leather is always one of those satisfying things to watch. I'm just going to throw some neat's foot oil on it. Yeah, this thing's kind of old and grimy, but the stuff inside is fine. It was pretty cold in here. You can see it's congealing a little bit. I mean, it is very cold in the shop, so I'm not surprised. Gotta warm it up with my hands to let it soak into the leather a little more. Yeah, it turns such a nice color when oiled too. I like it when it's the unoiled color too, but that dark chocolate just looks so rich and deep. I know the lights from the camera kind of throw it off a little bit, but yeah. So Nick has no idea he's getting the sheath. So, a nice little surprise for him. And I'm also going to send him here. Well, I got it sitting here. I'll take the glove, send him something too. I'll show you guys. I picked up another. Those are the hardware store checking out handles. My usual hardware store, Runnings, my local one, and they still had these sitting in the farrier section or the horse care section. Also where I bought my neatswood oil forever ago. And they had had more of these red tanks sitting there. And I know when you guys had asked about it previously, I had thrown some links to like Amazon where they were, but my local place has them, I think, almost $10 cheaper than what they're selling them on Amazon for. So I'm gonna throw one of these into the package to send them to, because this thing just works so well for heavy removal. I think I can't remember. I think he said he might have a farrier's rasp, but it might be an older one, so I don't know if it's used or if you just got a larger cabinet maker's rasp. But this is the exact same one that. Here's the box from mine. You can tell it's been sitting around a little longer, but yeah, this is the exact same one that I've been using, and I've been really happy with it. And it's so aggressive with the material removal. I think it might help him a little bit with some of his handle projects going on, because he's got, and he's doing a ton of handle carving, which is really cool. I'd like to do a video on that at some point soon myself. So hopefully that'll give him a little, another tool. You know what I mean? I think like everyone in this hobby kind of keeps collecting tools, so what's another one? So that'll be going to him along with the sheath and the axe. So I probably won't release this until I've actually got it in the mail to him, because he doesn't know about it. Try to surprise him, It's Christmas time. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry about the voiceover part. I haven't actually done the voiceover yet, but we will see. Hopefully it comes out all right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. And stay tuned for more fun stuff.